Hey guys, I'm Marcus with Drive and Be Driven, reporting to you from bright and breezy South Florida. And this week I have the CR-V, courtesy of my peeps over at Honda. But this is a special CR-V because this is the first time ever that it's available in hybrid form. Today we're going to take an in-depth walk around together. So let's get started. Now before we kick off this walk around review, I wanted to let you know how I have a slew of videos covering the CR-V Hybrid. So if you want to know more information about this vehicle, feel free to click on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Also in the description box below, I have a blog article covering the CR-V Hybrid. So if you fancy more of the reading side, you definitely want to check that out. Also, I would truly appreciate if you could please subscribe to the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel, as well as leave this video with a thumbs up. Both of those two simple actions let me know that you love what I'm doing, and I absolutely love what I do as well. So please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. If I were to tell you quick, think of a compact crossover, 9 times out of 10, the first vehicle that will come to mind will be the Honda CR-V. And that is not a coincidence. The Honda CR-V has actually been the best selling crossover over the past decade, and Honda will be proud to tell you that. Pretty impressive. But of course, this is no fluke. After all, Honda has been continually updating the Honda CR-V ever since it was first introduced. And here we are in its 5th generation, and Honda has some pretty tough competition. Nowadays, it seems like everyone and their grandmother wants a compact utility vehicle, hence why basically every single mainstream automaker offers one. So Honda knew in order to remain extremely competitive and compelling in this compact utility vehicle segment, they had to pull a wild card from up their sleeve. As you might have imagined, this vehicle is an absolute huge leap for the Honda brand, and that's because it is the very first electrified Honda branded vehicle to feature all-wheel drive. All in all, this vehicle is definitely going to be one of those puzzle pieces that's really going to help formulate the whole picture of Honda featuring 2/3 of their lineup with electrification by the year 2030. So is the CR-V Hybrid compelling enough to make buyers' favorite over the non-hybrid model? And does the CR-V Hybrid have what it takes to compete head-on against its more well-established competitors from Ford and Toyota? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's take an in-depth walk around. Alright, so now let's talk about the exterior styling of the CR-V. So for 2020, Honda did give the CR-V a mid-cycle refresh, and along with that mid-cycle refresh comes a few subtle tweaks on the exterior as well as on the interior, under the hood, etc. But let's first talk about the exterior styling, and let's look at this front fascia up here. So looking at the front fascia, you're going to notice how Honda has implemented a slightly different design here. You're going to have less chrome over here in your main grille, more chrome down here in your lower fascia. It's basically going to be a flip-flop because previously you had a big chrome bold bar up here with little to no chrome down here in your lower fascia. Let me know what you think about having more chrome down here and less up here. Also, you're going to notice how you have a bit more black accenting up here as well, giving the front fascia a bit more of that athletic look. You probably want to know how you're going to differentiate your hybrid models from your non-hybrid models. Your hybrid models are going to come exclusive with this blue Honda badge right here. That's only going to be on your hybrid models. And another difference about your hybrid models is going to be right down here. You're going to have these horizontally opposed LED fog lights only on your hybrid models. If you go for your gasoline models, you're going to get a round circular design. Another key difference though is going to be really mild, not really going to notice it at all, but you're going to have these really well integrated parking sensors up here. If you go for your non-hybrid touring, you're not going to get front parking sensors, nor are you going to get rear parking sensors. So if you want parking sensors, you have to go for that hybrid touring. If you were looking at this exterior color and you're really interested in it, this is actually going to be an all new color for the mid-cycle refresh 5th generation CR-V. It's going to be called Radiant Red, and I think it looks absolutely spectacular. And as far as the width of this vehicle goes, it is going to be 73 inches wide, which is going to be right around the general width of most competitors in this class. Many will say that the CR-V is even the benchmark for the class, so it makes a lot of sense that the CR-V is going to be right in line with a lot of its competitors. But now let's go ahead and check out these headlights in a bit more detail. All right, so now let's talk about the headlights on the CR-V. So all CR-V hybrids are going to feature these fully LED headlights right here, so it looks absolutely spectacular. So even if you go for that base LX model, you will still get these fully LED headlights, which is not the case with the non-hybrid model. All in all, this design definitely looks very attractive looking. It is going to be a reflector beam design, and then right up there up top you can see you have that LED strip running all the way there, and you have a daytime running light running beneath there. It's sort of like a hook like shape. You're also going to notice that right over there on your mirrors, you're actually going to have a turn signal indicator on there as well. It is going to be LED. All in all, I feel like Honda really hit it on the nose with the overall exterior lighting features, especially on this front fascia. And like I showed you before, you're also going to have those LED fog lights down there exclusive to the hybrid models. But now let's go ahead and check out the side profile and see what Honda has going on over there. And as far as the length of your CR-V Hybrid goes, it is going to be about 1 inch longer than both your RAV4 Hybrid and Escape Hybrid. And as far as the wheelbase goes, it's actually going to be pretty good size as well. It's going to be about 1 inch shorter wheelbase wise than your RAV4 Hybrid, but actually about 2 inches shorter wheelbase wise than your Ford Escape Hybrid. So all in all, this vehicle is definitely going to be very class competitive right there in the meat of the competition. All in all, this side profile of the CR-V should be a recipe to grant pretty impressive interior volume. We're going to see what that equates to a little bit later on once we hop inside of the vehicle. And as far as the overall design cues on this side profile go, you're going to be looking at some pretty neat and snazzy roof rails up here. These are going to be exclusive to your top of the line touring trim level. You're also going to have some chrome accenting around your windows right there, and then in the lower fascia you'll have a bit more chrome accenting with black cladding. Black cladding is going to be on all of your CR-Vs. So now let's go ahead and check out those rims and see what Honda has going on over there. All right, so here we are looking at the rims. These are going to be a 10-spoke design, and these are going to be exclusive to your top-of-the-line touring trim level. These are going to be 19 inches. All in all, I feel like they have a very snazzy and modern look to them. And as far as the overall options go for these rims, your entry-level LX is going to have 17 inches, and then step up to your EX, EXL, you're going to be looking at 18 inches. Top-of-the-line touring will have these 19 inches. It's sort of like an incremental ladder, so the larger your rims, the more upscale and premium your CR-V is going to be. And I like how these rims are going to be the exact same rims found on your non-hybrid model, so that's definitely going to allow for consumers to feel a bit more comfortable by going for this model, because they're not going to be standing out as much by having a vehicle that obviously looks like a hybrid. And I feel like Honda definitely knows this, and Toyota is also sort of doing that as well, and even Ford. All of them look just like their non-hybrid counterparts, so I definitely like how Honda is definitely keeping that consistent with your CR-V Hybrid. All right, so now let's talk about the rear fascia of the CR-V. So like I mentioned, the CR-V did get a mid-cycle refresh for the 2020 model year, and along with that mid-cycle refresh is actually going to come a mildly tweaked rear fascia, just like that front fascia, but it is going to be extremely, extremely mild. Your main difference is going to be your taillights here, which are now going to boast a darker shadowed-like layout. And then also in your lower fascia, you're going to notice how you're actually going to have a slightly reworked rear bumper here as well. And as far as how you can differentiate this model from your hybrid model, you're actually going to notice about 3 main differences. Just like up front, you're going to have your blue H logo right here, and you're also going to have a hybrid badge down here as well. You're actually going to have quite a few badges on your CR-V Hybrid. It's going to tell you that you have a Honda. Right over there, it's going to say CR-V, all-wheel drive, hybrid, touring. So it is a badge bonanza back here. If you want to know how to remove badges off of your vehicle, click in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. I'm actually going to shamelessly plug my badge removal DIY video. And the third difference is going to be, once again, very subtle, just like that front fascia. You are going to have your rear parking sensors, and these are only going to be on your top of the line touring trim level, but only in the hybrid model. Go for your non-hybrid and you're not going to get these rear parking sensors. As far as the overall height of this vehicle goes, it is going to be at 66.1 inches if you go for front wheel drive. But since all CR-V hybrids are going to be all-wheel drive, you're going to be looking at 66.5 inches as far as the height goes. Ground clearance is going to be the main difference as to why the front wheel drive and all-wheel drive are going to be different heights. If you go for your all-wheel drive models, you're actually going to get up to 8.2 inches of ground clearance, which is going to be slightly higher than both your Ford Escape Hybrid and your Toyota RAV4 hybrids. And looking at your taillights here, let's go ahead and look at these a bit closer and check out the overall design that Honda has going on over here. All right, so here we are looking at the taillight here, and I really love the design that Honda was able to implement on the CR-V Hybrid. Like I mentioned earlier, all CRVs for this mid-cycle refresh is going to offer these darker shadows taillights. The overall taillights are going to have a vertical design here, but it's also going to flow onto your rear tailgate as well. These taillights are going to be full LED, and when I say full LED, I'm using that term lightly because your reverse light is actually going to be an incandescent bulb, but your turn signal and your brake light are going to be fully LED. This here's going to be a little mini cost cut on Honda's end because you rarely ever see that reverse light, but your turn signal and your brake lights you see a lot more often. And the overall design is also going to be extremely sculpted. You can see how I was just resting my arm on there because it's like a little shelf. I mean, it is maybe a bit of a dirt shelf there, but all in all, definitely makes this rear fascia look rather upscale and premium. All right, now since we have been at the rear for quite some time now, let's go ahead and pop open that rear tailgate and see how much cargo capability the CRV boasts. Now, I do have a complete in-depth cargo evaluation review, so if you want to know more information about that trunk as far as versatility, how much stuff can actually fit in the trunk, where it ranks as far as its competition goes, I want you to check out that video. It's going to be extremely in-depth, focusing just on that cargo area. But we are going to just briefly focus on the tailgate really quick. So to open it up, you actually have a key fob which can actually activate your tailgate. It's going to be a power assisted tailgate. If you want that power assistance, you have to go for your EXL and above trim levels. You're also going to have a cool foot activated feature as well that is going to be exclusive to your top of the line touring trim levels. With your rear seats folded up and your cargo area open, you are going to be looking at 33.2 cubic feet of space. If you were to fold down those rear seats, you're actually going to be looking at an expansion to 68.7 cubic feet of space. But all in all, your cargo space is not going to be too drastically different from your non-hybrid models, but you just have to be okay with losing that two-tier functionality in your cargo area. And you're also not going to get a spare tire anymore on the hybrid models. It is going to help save with weight. But not only that, Honda did mount all of your batteries underneath the cargo area, and that's where that spare tire would have otherwise been located. So Honda has just decided to delete it. Once again, be sure to check out that cargo evaluation review, which I will have linked in the description box and the comment section below. All right guys, now at this point in the video, I would truly appreciate it if you could please subscribe to the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel. Also comment down below letting me know what you think about the CR-V Hybrid so far. Is it a yay or a nay? Comment down below. All right, so now let's talk about what's under the hood of the CR-V. So like I mentioned, the CR-V Hybrid is an all-new model for 2020. And of course, that is going to add a new powertrain. But Honda actually did a bit more changes to the powertrain than just adding a hybrid model. You're also going to get the drop of your entry-level 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. Now you're only going to be able to get either this hybrid powertrain or that gasoline 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, which used to be on your higher end trim levels. Now it is going to be on all of your trim levels as standard equipment. Your hybrid powertrain is going to be optional equipment, adding about $1,200 to your gasoline all-wheel drive models. But now let's go ahead and open up this hood. It is going to be a traditional way of opening the hood. So you actually have to just come over here above your Honda logo, push over to the right, lift it up. And when I mean traditional, I mean it's going to have a prop rod here. So you have to put the prop rod in. Luckily, the hood is not too heavy and it's not too hot today, so I can just lift it up without burning my hands here. So underneath the hood, you are going to be looking at a 3-motor setup here. As far as your power outputs go, we're going to be looking at 212 horsepower, 232 pound-feet of torque, and that torque is going to be available instantly at 0 RPM because of that electric motor that is going to work in that lower end RPM wonderfully. I actually have a drive review of this vehicle, so if you want to know even more about what's under the hood as well as the overall driving dynamics of this vehicle, I want you to check that video out. And I also wanted to mention how this is going to be the exact same powertrain as was found under the hood of that Accord Hybrid, so it has been able to be a little bit refined since Honda has been using this powertrain for a little bit now. So at least you know that you're not going to be getting a fresh, all-new powertrain that may arise some issues. And like I said at the intro of this video, this is the first time the CR-V is ever going to be featuring hybridization, but this is actually also going to be another first for the CR-V, and that's because this is going to be the first time the CR-V is going to be offering over 200 horsepower, and this is also going to be the first time ever that Honda is going to be featuring a hybrid vehicle or an electrified vehicle period with an all-wheel drive setup. So that's definitely pretty neat that the CR-V is going to be the first vehicle to boast that. All right, so as far as fuel efficiency goes with the CR-V Hybrid, you are going to be looking at 38 miles per gallon combined, which is going to be a pretty substantial jump from your non-hybrid version of the CR-V with all-wheel drive, which is going to be right around 29 miles per gallon combined. If you are looking at its hybrid competitors though, this is going to be ever so slightly less than both the RAV4 Hybrid and the Escape Hybrid, both of which are going to be offering 40 miles per gallon combined. But all in all, it's not going to be too far off from those two competitors, but it is going to be a little bit less, so just keep that in mind. All right guys, here I am in the passenger seat of the CR-V, and I want to talk about safety because this is probably where you are going to be carrying your loved ones here as well as in the back seat. Safety is extremely important, not only having safety tech, but also how a vehicle performs in crash tests. And you can rest assured that the CR-V is going to be performing extremely well in both of those regards. As far as safety tech goes, Honda is going to offer a lot more standard safety technology now for the mid-cycle refreshed Honda CR-V. For both your non-hybrid and hybrid models, you are going to get Honda sensing as standard equipment on all of your trim levels, so that's definitely pretty generous on Honda's end. But you will have to step up to higher end trim levels. I believe you have to go to your EX and above trim levels if you want to get your blind spot monitoring with your rear cross traffic alert. That rear cross traffic alert is not going to break for you, so if you're looking for that, the CR-V Hybrid's not going to offer that. But honestly, it's not too bad because the fact that you get all this standard safety technology is going to be pretty commendable. And as far as the overall crash tests go, instead of the CR-V, you are going to be getting good ratings all across the board from the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. So you can rest assured that the CR-V is definitely going to be boasting lots of safety tech, and when the worst happens, it is going to also protect you in a crash. All right, so now that we've covered the exterior, let's go ahead and hop on inside. So let's first look at this door panel here. So the CR-V Hybrid is going to come with a pretty neat overall door panel layout here. I was actually pretty impressed with the overall material choices that Honda decided to choose. And this top of the line touring trim level, you are going to get a soft to the touch injection molded plastic up here with your imitation leather stitching there. It's not going to have any type of contrast though, so it's not going to be too noticeable unless you're close up on it. You're going to have this wood accenting here. It's going to be a pretty decent look and feel, but honestly, I'm not too impressed by it. Definitely looks a bit on the fake side and feels a bit on the fake side as well. I wish Honda offered this to be swapped out. If you're going for the top of the line touring, you only get this wood accenting. So if you don't like it, too bad, because you have to get it. And then right over here, you're going to have your aluminum accented door handles, a nice little C shape there. You're going to have your memory seating for your driver's seat. We're going to go ahead and sit in the driver's seat in just a little bit and see how comfortable it is. All of your window and mirror controls are going to be located up here. Nice plush armrest. It's not going to be extremely plush, but at least it is going to have a nice leather feel to it. It's going to have a seat color layout here, so we are going to have that gray interior. You can also get a black and a beige interior with the CR-V, but it is going to be dependent on whatever exterior color you get. You cannot just get any interior color on any exterior color, so once again, just keep that in mind. Lower down here, it is going to be all hard to the touch plastic, and then your speakers are going to be located here, and you're going to have another one located right up there. But Honda is not going to offer any type of premium audio system. So if you're looking for that instead of your CR-V, Honda is not going to offer it. But if you go for your RAV4 Hybrid and your Escape Hybrid, you can actually get some more premium audio systems. Toyota is going to offer JBL, and I believe Ford is going to be offering Bang & Olufsen. So if you want something like that, definitely go for its competitors. But in the CR-V, it's just going to be a Honda in-house designed 9-speaker audio system. But now let's go ahead and sit in that driver's seat and see how comfortable it actually is. These are going to be power seats for your driver as well as your front passenger. We're going to talk about the front passenger in just a little bit because I have a minor gripe for that seat. But your driver's seat is going to be perfect. You're going to have 12 ways, forward, backwards, up, down, left, and right. I mean, every way you would want to put your driver's seat, you are going to get inside of the CR-V Hybrid, so that's pretty neat. Your steering wheel is going to be manually adjustable, so if you just locate the little lever under here, and you can move it up and down. A decent range of motion, in and out is going to be pretty good as well. All in all, pretty class competitive as far as the overall range goes. I had no problems getting in a comfortable position at 6 feet tall. So all in all, very, very impressed with that. And these seating surfaces are going to have a perforation to them, and they are also going to be heated, but not ventilated. You cannot get any type of cooled seats inside of the CR-V, no matter how much you are willing to splurge towards it. And you're also not going to get any heated rear seats. So if you want heated rear seats, the CR-V is also not going to offer that. Some of its competitors are going to offer that though, so just keep that in mind. We're going to hop in the back seats in just a little bit. I also wanted to mention that passenger seat, like I told you, that seat's actually only going to move forward and backwards, and that's it. It's going to be a 4-way, unlike your driver's seat, which has 12-way. And honestly, 4-way is not too impressive at all, especially for a top-of-the-line vehicle priced nearly at $40,000. having 4 ways for your passenger seat is just a bit laughable, and I really wish Honda will improve that. But now let's go ahead and hop on into the back seat and check out what Honda has going on back there. All right guys, like I just mentioned, now it's time to go ahead and check out those back seats. So let's open it right on up. Here are going to be looking at a very similar overall door panel design. The only difference here as far as material choices go is your upper panel is going to be hard to the touch as opposed to the soft to the touch. You're still going to have that imitation leather there. Everything else is going to be the same with your leather here as well as your wood accenting up there. Your speakers there, and then your door handle. You also have some bottle and cubby holders in the lower portion as well. Let's go ahead and hop into the back seat and see the overall space in comparison to its competitors. All right guys, here we are in the back seat of the CR-V, and I have to say it's very refreshing to sit in a back seat that's actually not going to be restricting. A lot of vehicles are starting to go for a bit more of a coupe-like, car-like shape, but here in the CR-V it's staying very true to the overall SUV crossover type of design, in which you have a very cavernous cabin. I mean, there's very little cabins where I could just be like, I have all the space in the world. So I'm really happy about that. As far as legroom goes, it's absolutely amazing inside of here. You're going to be looking at just shy of the best in class as far as legroom goes. The best in class, I believe, is actually going to be that Ford Escape. It's constantly changing with so many vehicles coming in and out of the segment, but currently it is going to be that Ford Escape, and the CR-V is going to be slightly smaller than that Escape, but more legroom than something like your Toyota RAV4 by about 2 inches. So just keep that in mind. You're definitely going to be getting a pretty spacious back seat inside of the CR-V, and it's going to be the same if you're sitting in either all the way on the left board in the center or over here on the outer right board. You're only going to have one mat pocket, and right over there in the center you will have 2 AC vents as well as 2 2.5 amp volts back there to charge devices. You're also going to have a center armrest, which is nice as well. It's going to have 2 cup holders inside of there. It's not going to have any footsie tabs to hold your drink tighter. And your rear seats can actually also recline forward and backwards. It's going to be the smallest difference. It's going to be about maybe like 1 inch or 2 of recline, but at least it is going to offer a bit more comfort for your rear seat passengers. But as far as overall volume goes, just rest assured that you are going to be getting one of the most spacious back seats in the class. Alright, so here we are hopping on into the interior. So all CR-V hybrids are going to come standard with a proximity key as well as push button start. So all you have to do is make sure you have the vehicle unlocked and hop right on inside and push this power to start. And once you start up the vehicle, you're going to notice how it's a very quiet startup. You're not really going to hear anything because when the vehicle turns on initially, most of the time it is going to be in EV mode. You can see right there is going to say EV ready in your upper left-hand corner of your screen, because you don't really hear any engine noise. The engine will eventually kick in when you have the vehicle at idle for a while, but for the most part, no engine noise upon startup. So let's talk about the overall dashboard layout here. Over here on the left, you're going to have an AC vent as well as some of that wood accenting that I was mentioning earlier. And this is where all of your safety systems will be located, at least the majority of them. You're going to have quite a few blank buttons here as well. I'm not quite sure why there's so many blank buttons since it's the top of the line touring trim level. You can have all of your tactile buttons over here. Sort of reminds me of what you would find on like an Xbox or PlayStation controller. Very clicky, tactile feel. Absolutely love it. These are all going to adjust what you're going to be seeing inside of your gauge cluster over there. And then right over here you have your horn cover, as well as over here to the right you'll have your safety as well as your cruise control. It's all going to be located on the right. Over here on the left is going to be all of your multimedia display. And then you're going to have a 3-spoke steering wheel design, leather wrapped with no contrast stitching. It is going to be black stitching. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at this overall dashboard design here on the CR-V, because it's a pretty interesting one. Up top, you're going to have 2 AC vents, so they're going to be nice and high, be able to blow on you. Beneath there, you're going to also have this screen. So when the vehicle was off, this screen seemed as if it was a full, huge touchscreen. I thought it was going to be maybe a 9-inch touchscreen, possibly even 10 inches. Then you turn on the vehicle, and the overall size is not as impressive. You're going to be looking at a much smaller screen here in this little portion. It's only going to be 7 inches, surprisingly, inside of the CR-V. Over here off on the left, you're going to have all of your quick access buttons. They are going to be touch capacitive, so they're not going to be physical buttons. You're also not going to have any type of tune knob on here, but you will have a volume knob, which is nice. Right over here, you notice it is going to say where to as well as view map, and that's because the CR-V Hybrid is going to come with navigation if you go with this 7-inch touchscreen. If you go to home, you can see it takes a little bit to load. It's not going to be the quickest system, but it's going to support swiping, and it makes lots of cool beeping noises. I feel like That's really cool. We're gonna go to navigation. You can see real quick. I'm gonna go to audio. And so you can see it took a while for me to even open up audio. So I mean, it's not the quickest out there, but I mean, it gets the job done. I just wish Honda offered a larger touchscreen, especially in this top-of-the-line touring trim level. 7 inches is pretty laughable, especially since a lot of its competitors are going to be offering much larger screens, and not only larger screens, but also more updated screens. I hope Honda decides to pull over the touchscreen interface from the Honda Accord, which is going to be a newer system, as well as a slightly larger system. If you come over here, I wanted to also mention how you're not going to have any type of heads-up display inside of the CR-V Hybrid, no matter how badly you want it. But over here, I really like the overall clean layout that Honda is going to be offering you. It's probably one of the cleanest layouts, in my opinion, because you're going to have all of your audio controls up here. Even though these are going to be touch capacitive, they can be a bit finicky at times. At least you're going to have everything in its own particular section. Beneath there, in this middle strip, are going to be all of your climate control settings. And then beneath there are going to be all of your driving mode settings. So you're going to have your dual zone climate control in this top of the line touring trim level. Your fan speeds are going to be right there. Very easy to read, as well as your heated seats. You're only going to get heated front seats inside of the CR-V, even in this top of the line touring trim level. No heated back seats, nor are you going to get any type of cooled seats for your front or your rear. So once again, just keep that in mind. Right here in the center, this is actually going to be exclusive to your hybrid models. This is going to be a push button gear selector. Even if you go for your base LX, you're still going to get this push button gear selector. So if you put your foot on the brake, you can go into reverse, neutral, and drive. So let's go ahead and check out the reverse camera. So we popped it into reverse. You're going to have your display that's actually going to get even smaller if you go for this top of the line touring trim level that has the parking sensors. If you were to disengage your parking sensors, your display is going to get a lot bigger. But with your parking sensors engaged, you're going to notice how your reverse camera gets even smaller than that 7 inches. But you're still going to have your 3 modes here for top down, as well as a more wide angle view and then a more narrow angle view. This is the more traditional view that I keep the vehicle in. And you can also get your trajectory, your distance markers, and then this button over here in the bottom right corner is going to be for your rear cross traffic alert activation. The system is not going to brake for you, so just keep that in mind. It's going to just give you a little mini audible warning telling you if a car is coming from your right hand side or left hand side. But all in all, it's nice that Honda is going to be offering all of these different features. I just wish the camera was a bit higher quality. It can be a bit grainy, especially in lower light settings. Right now, it's pretty bright outside, so it's not too shabby. Let's go ahead and put this vehicle back into park. Right over here off on the right, you're going to have your 3 different drive modes. There's actually going to be 4 drive modes inside of the CR-V, believe it or not, but there's only going to be 3 buttons here. So when you turn on the vehicle, it's going to default into Econ mode, but you can actually turn off Econ mode inside of your gauge cluster, in which it is going to then tell you that Econ mode is off. When it says Econ mode is off, then essentially you are going to be in a normal mode, but it's just not going to be labeled as normal mode. So you're going to have Sport, Econ, Econ off, as well as EV mode. Beneath there, you're going to have your wireless phone charging, which works wonderfully. It actually charges my phone pretty quickly. And then beneath there, you're also going to have 2 USB ports there to charge your devices or connect them via your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Only this left one is going to be able to connect to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay though. So if you're plugging it into here and wondering why it's not working, plug it into the left because it has that little phone symbol there. Beneath there, you're going to have 2 cup holders that are going to be pretty large sizes. You're also going to have these little footsie grips in there as well to make sure your drinks don't slide all over the place. Behind there, you actually have this pretty interesting system here that's actually going to offer lots of versatility as far as storage goes. You can hear it's a little loud and clunky sounding, but you're going to have a 12-volt power outlet inside of there, which is pretty neat to have, and it is going to have a rubber lining as well. So let me just demonstrate the different versatility that this system offers. You can open it up, put for say your big purse inside of here, or anything that may be large that'll be restricted if you had this down. Pull it down and slide it forward. You can have a 2-tier system in which you can stack things on top, or go ahead and open it up and put some stuff inside of there. Pretty neat. And then you can close this down as well. This, not too impressive with the overall sounds. I feel like everything's a bit too loud and unrefined sounding, but at least Honda is going to offer this for you because a lot of its competitors are just going to offer a more traditional system here that's not going to be as versatile and practical. So this is going to slide, and then you can open it up here as well. It's not going to have any height adjustability like ratcheting, but that's honestly a minor nitpick. But over here, once again, looking at your dashboard, it's going to have a decent feel to it. It's going to be slightly soft padded injection molded plastic. Your upper dashboard is also going to be that as well, all the way to your windshield. So that's pretty impressive that Honda paid that close attention to detail. Beneath here, this is going to be hard to the touch, but that's basically acceptable inside of this class. It's going to be a bit of a reach though to grab your glove box there, but once it opens up, it is going to be mildly damped. I wish it was damped a bit more, because when you open it up, it sort of crashes, but it is going to be very slightly damped inside of there. And then coming above from there, you're going to have your rear view mirror, as well as your lights inside of here. These lights are only going to be incandescent inside of the CR-V Hybrid. If you're looking for non-incandescent lights, you cannot get that in the CR-V Hybrid. This is the top of the line touring trim level, and although the entire exterior, like I showed you earlier, is LED, the entire interior is actually going to be incandescent, which is pretty interesting. A lot of its competitors are going to offer LED lights as you step up the trim level ladder. Right here, you are going to have a conversation mirror, which is pretty neat. Here goes another area that I would like to see Honda improve on. You're only going to have a mini sunroof instead of here. You're not going to have a full panoramic sunroof like some of its competitors are going to offer. Even in the hybrid space, you are going to have competitors offering panoramic sunroofs as well. So I'm pretty surprised that Honda did not try to implement that inside of the CR-V. All right, guys, well, there you have it. The sun is starting to set, so that's my time to sign out. As far as the CR-V Hybrid goes, it's an extremely good offering if you are looking for a hybrid vehicle and you don't really want to take too much of a compromise as far as overall interior practicality goes. The fact that this vehicle is going to offer you standard all-wheel drive and be priced considerably under a lot of its competitors. This vehicle is actually going to be undercutting both that RAV4 and that Escape Hybrid by about $1,000 to $2,000. Even as you work your way up the trim level ladder, the CR-V Hybrid is going to be less expensive. This vehicle is going to top out at $37,000, which is right under both that Escape Hybrid and that RAV4 Hybrid. Once again, huge thanks to my peeps over at Honda for loaning me this vehicle for the week. Comment and tell me what you would like to see in future videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Marcus, and thanks for watching Drive and Be Driven. Keep it positive, and I'll see you next time. You can become a Drive and Be Driven driver today. Just simply click the subscribe button and you will become a part of the Drive and Be Driven circle. Subscribing will allow you to stay up to date with the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel. Thank you to all of my current Drive and Be Driven drivers for driving me towards my goals and dreams. Stay subscribed for more awesome videos like this one.